Icons Talk with your host Clarence R. Wallace, your forum for positive and uplifting conversation. Today I'm so elated and excited that we finally are doing an episode where we're having an interview with an icon, Ryan Agard, my friend. 30 years, 3 decades, can you imagine? See children growing up and leave home and all that stuff. It's been fantastic. I mentioned in the first episode we did that who do I consider icons? And I said it's not necessarily celebrities. I'm talking about individuals who have contributed to their community in a positive manner and sometimes go beyond even their career and have helped others who are in need. And I've seen this man in action, not just as a firefighter. I've seen him, with refugees when they came recently in November. He used his truck and he would be taking groceries and he'd be taking clothing. I mean, I would let him talk about it, but this is the true meaning of an icon, one who serves their community and serve it well. And I'm honored to have you as my first guest. So welcome to Icons Talk.
Thank you.
Welcome to Icons Talk. I'm going to let Ryan explain a little bit, but if you do like the setup of our set, this is different from what we had. I'll just let you know, I've been working on this before this taping. I only got an hour and a half sleep. This set, I worked on it until 2:30 in the morning. Got up and continued. And I'm telling you, this is inspiration from God. So I hope you like the ambience of it, because we want to do this in excellence. So anyhow, without any further ado, Ryan, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Tell the people about yourself a little bit.
Well, Ryan Agard, 32 years in the fire service, 29 with Brampton. Immerse myself in the culture. It's about making a difference. It's about being purpose driven. Married, father of 3 adult children, and very blessed and fortunate to be here. So thank you for having me.
Welcome. Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I didn't mention earlier that the title for this is Trailblazers, the journey of a fireman, right? And I know it's more than just a fireman, but this is what we call a trailblazer, the journey of a fireman. So welcome, Ryan. So I have a question for you. Can you share with us your journey into the fire services from your early experience to your current role as acting district chief and with Brampton Fire Services?
Okay, so in a nutshell, or basically a brief overview, always thought of the fire service, I'd say by about 18, 19 years old, is something as a possibility, but I had other aspirations first. Original goal was to play pro football. Injuries took care of that. And then I always tell young people when I go to career days the importance of education, because plan A didn't work out, because I was still in school getting my degree. There was multiple doors open to me, and this is what I chose. My neighbor growing up was a Toronto firefighter, and he always talked about how much he enjoyed his career. I had a great uncle who was a firefighter in Barbados. My friend's father was a firefighter in Jamaica, and it just seemed like a great job, played to my strengths. So began as a volunteer, and it was my father who actually showed me the clipping, and he said, it's a great opportunity. If you like it, pursue it. If you don't like it, then, move on to something else. And from the first fire I went into, I knew this was for me, and I knew it was something that I had to pursue. And that's when the journey began, and 3 years as a volunteer. Then door opened up in Brampton. In 1995, myself and a few other guys broke the color barrier in Brampton, and it's been a great career. I've really enjoyed it. I would do it all over again. And I would recommend this career to anybody. It's amazing. I've made some great friends, and now being in a position of leadership, get to influence, get to be a little more in the community. Thankfully, I've been able to get into other aspects of firefighting and be able to mentor, being able to encourage young people that this may be a career for them, and just continuing on the journey, being purpose-driven and making a difference.
Beautiful. I hear some key points that you made. First of all, you spoke about the foundation of having a proper education, because your desire was to be a pro player, but because you pursued education, that opens up other opportunities for you. Other things that he spoke about that I hope you young people listen is that sometimes life will throw you off of your game in terms of what to do. But, some people say, well, I want to be a pro football player, and, you just mope and worry about it. But what he did, he pivoted. That's life. Sometimes life situations and extrinsic factors will affect you. And he was able to pivot. And another key thing that he mentioned is that people will be influencers in your life to guide you along the way. And he had those people who influenced him, and they actually became his mentor in a sense. And the beautiful thing is, and I was going to talk about that, is that he has become a mentor. I mean, a good friend of mine that I work with, her son wanted to get into the fire services. And you were more than willing to spend some time and actually give him some guidance as to, getting into the fire services. And I must tip my hat, he actually got in. So, you're doing a job, man. And that's the beautiful thing about what I call an icon, is that you didn't just keep things to yourself. There are people, when they advance in life, it's just about them. But the beautiful thing is you wanted to contribute to see others rise to the status of fulfilling their purpose. And I'm telling you, that's a beautiful thing.
Oh,
that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you. I honestly believe that if I just did this job and there was nothing in between,
yes,
I started here, I ended here,
yes,
and did make a difference. To me, it's almost a failure.
Yeah.
If you haven't made a difference, if you haven't fulfilled a purpose.
Yeah. Because I really believe we're all called to serve in different capacities, right? You're a firefighter, but as I said, you extend yourself beyond you're not just labeled. Even though I said, this program is called Trailblazers, a journey of a firefighter, but you're more than just a firefighter. You're a mentor, right? You're a mentor to others. I've seen you volunteering in communities, going to schools and encouraging children, right? So it's just awesome to really have you, my friend. Really awesome to have you. I want to also ask you another question. So you grew up in the GTA with parents from Barbados, the Bajans as we call them, right? You mentioned being exposed to both Caribbean and Canadian culture. How has this influenced your approach to life and your career in the fire services?
Well, I'll start off by saying that my parents, both of my heroes, my mom, unfortunately passed away at a very young age, but again, a very good lesson. My mother's short life. She lived life. There was a lot to be told in that short life, including having 4 children, having a husband that loved her, and and my parents were very forward thinking. So when they came to this country, how do we set our kids best up for success?
Right.
So that meant exposing us to other cultures, embracing the country that her and my father decided to come to.
Yes.
Which actually has opened a door, because then you have relatability, you have empathy, where other people are coming from, which translated in fire service, especially in a community like as dynamic and diverse as Brampton, is that you can give that vibe, that energy, that we're here to help. And, we embrace each other's differences.
Awesome. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No. So that's what I would say, that my parents really set us up for success.
Awesome. One of the beautiful things that you mentioned there is in terms of your mom didn't live you didn't have her around for very long. But for the period of time that you had her, she impacted your life. She left a legacy behind. And that's the beautiful thing about life. I believe in this. I tell people all the time, I'm not so concerned about the length of life, the quantity of life I live. It's the quality of life I live. and the legacy I leave behind. Some people say they don't care about legacy. I do care about legacy because legacy is not about me. Legacy is really about others. As you know, that my mantra that I live by is positive influence in the life of one to impact the life of many. That's my mantra. I mean, I don't mention it on the program much, but that's what I live by. And it's just beautiful to know that you can have, your mom wasn't around for years, but she had that tremendous impact on your life. And that's just awesome. And that's to show, I'm also sharing this. And for those of you who are listening, you may have lost your mom or a dad or someone significant in your life, but don't allow that to stop you from living. Make them proud. Make them proud. Continue to pursue the things that they've taught you, implement it. Right? Because it's not about the quantity of life, it's the quality of life. And let me tell you something, folks that are listening. We're just in an earth suit. The life never dies. Life never dies. So we know that we're just transitioning. So while you're here, live a life of impact. Know your purpose. Have a plan. Those that are drifters, they live a life by, if you don't have drifters, they have no plan and purpose in life. So I'm asking you, have some purpose. Just like my brother had some purpose and he made that effort to do what he had to do to become a firefighter. One of the things that he mentioned is volunteering. Some people just want to get things happening right away. But volunteer is a good way to give back to the community, but you also learn so much. So thank you for sharing those points. So we're going to move on to question number 3. You've mentioned experiencing. So I want to talk about culture a bit because, as a Bayesian man, I know you love Jamaican vibes, right? I know this man loves reggae music. And I mean, we're Christian, but reggae is just a certain vibe about it, and I know you love it. So tell me a little bit about the reggae thing, because I know you love it. How did you get involved? As a Bayesian in Canada, how did you get into the reggae vibe?
Again, you know what? You meet those of us who grew up from the Caribbean.
Yes.
And you're exposed to it, growing up. We go to different dances and parties.
Back in the day,
back in the day, and again, the importance of sense of community, because that's where I met some friends that I have to this very day. Is community involvement, community meshing people together, and I would like to see that type of thing that we had as kids happening now, because it brings kids together. It keeps
brings community together.
It keeps kids off the street and doing stuff positive.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I have Jake here, and I know that Kenya. I mean, in Kenya they love reggae vibe. I mean, it's a small island, but the reggae vibe is different. You know what? I mean, in any genre of music,
and that's not to say I don't love my
I know you love your soca, though. I know you love your soca. I know that. I mean, everyone. I love different genre of music, but there's a certain vibe about reggae, and I know we're talking about this, but the reason why I'm saying that because music forms culture, and music influences culture, and music influence change. It's an art, right? And I know that from being a Jamaican, not just the fact is the vibes that you get from things. It's about justice. It's about standing up for equality and rights, and that's what we Jamaicans are all about. That's why we're a bit militant sometimes, and people can't take that energy. But it's just the reality that we love justice. You know what I mean? And that's what we stand for. And I know you're a man that stand for justice. That was a little segue there, but I just
the word music is to muse, right?
Pardon me?
The word music is to
muse. Absolutely. Yeah, you got it right. All right, so let's move on. So I know you mentioned the experience of racism and abuse growing up, including incident with off-duty police officers. How have these experiences shaped your perspective and influenced your approach to your career?
One thing that my parents grew up teaching us is not to hate. And again, being progressive, my parents kind of prepared us that some of these things would happen, and prepared. And some of the things were terrible, and some of the things have formed. I always tell the truth that when I was 18 and got my first car, and my father helped me with insurance, and before he handed me the car keys, he warned me. He said, if the sign says stop, stop. If the sign says 50, do 50, because you will be a target. And to his words, to my recollection, I was pulled over 24 times between the age of 18 and 21. No speeding tickets, no nothing like that. So, not to the obvious reason why. So, police harassment. I was out of town with some friends in Montreal, and a police tried to bait me into an altercation. So he was ready with his bat, ready to take me down. But again, parents' training taught me, okay, walk away. It's upsetting, it's angering, but you're going to make your life worse if you respond. So things like that. And it even started at an early age where I was abused by some off-duty police officers. And as a young kid, abused by an educator, by a teacher, physically abused. And, but thankfully for growing up in a strong family and a family of faith, teach you to overcome and to move forward. And I believe that you can turn these situations around and become empathetic and choose that you're not going to put anybody else through that type of thing. Matter of fact, I always tell a humorous story. When I started with Brampton Fire, we used to have to do fitness exams. So we would show up to training an hour and a half early, go for a jog, just to prepare for it. So you got a picture, there's me and 4 of my colleagues, 4 white guys. So we're out jogging, and a police officer turns on the lights and does a Yui. And here is the total picture of life experiences. So he turns around, I turn around, I'm taking 2 steps. I'm about to go on full-on sprint right back to the training yard, because police, emergency lights, So I turn around, I see my colleagues, my co-workers jogging towards it. Hey, officer! Hey. And I'm thinking,
what the difference?
What are you guys doing? And I was so uneasy. I'm at a distance. I'm jogging. Okay. This could turn at any time. But then I realized, not the officer's fault. He was genuinely congratulating us on getting the job and this and that. And I've since, through this worked with a lot of police officers and realized, they're good people. They want to make a difference in the community. Unfortunately for them, there's been a few bad police officers that have ruined it for them.
Yeah, but that's life, eh? You will have a mixture, and Ryan shared his experience about how many times he's been pulled over by officers and all that. And there are some that are quick to judge and said, well, that's not my experience. To be quite honest, I have never had any harassment by police officers. Interestingly enough,
I'm glad. It's not a great experience.
But I know that's not the lived experience of most black men, right? So what I'm saying is, sometimes people are quick to judge and say, well, that's not my experience. So therefore, they want to not validate your experience. But the experience is what you experience. Now, I have experienced that type of isms in other settings, right? I have actually, it's funny that most officers that I meet, they actually salute me, which is interesting. It's just a different, I don't know why it is, but anyhow, it's not about me so much, it's about you. But one of the things you mentioned as well is that when life gives you a situation that could make you bitter, you choose to be better from it. So I usually like to use the lemonade analogy, right? So you use the lemon, is a bit bitter, right? Not very tasty. So you use the sweetness of life, which is what your parents give you, the sweetness of life. Because, the problem that happens is, the person who's actually hating, they're really suffering, because they actually don't love themselves. If someone really loves themselves and loves humanity, they would not display hate. You can only give what's inside of you. So sometimes, again, as I said, you have to show empathy. and pray that they'll change, because actually they're destroying themselves. Because that's that toxic mindset which eventually will manifest in even their body. I mean, there's psychosomatic illnesses that occur, even cancers, they say, is psychosomatic. A matter of fact, the scripture said envy and jealousy is rottenness to the bone. So the way we think, the way we treat each other really impacts our lives. So you're right. You know, sometimes you have to really look at it and say, man, I'm feeling, like Jesus said, forgive them, they know not what they've done. Because they're really causing injury to themselves.
And again, that comes back to my parents. Both of them grew up in very tough circumstances, family circumstances, economic circumstances. Like hearing their story and their lives, for two people to have gone through some of the things they went through in life, and to not only not be bitter, but to be very loving and very generous and all about being purpose driven. And you know, that's only something God can put in them, and then that's a legacy to be left for their kids, and a legacy I can leave for my kids. So you talk about purpose driven, and you know, they weren't celebrities, but boy, the impact they made was amazing.
Yeah, because that's being transferred to your children. I mean, your children are biracial, you know? And they still say, even though biracial, they still face issues sometimes. Right?
Absolutely.
But anyway, we're not going to dwell on those things. We're going to move forward with positive vibes. Eh? So tell us something. So can you tell me about you talk about your early experience as a volunteer. No, what inspired you to pursue a career in the fire service, especially considering the challenges you faced growing up?
First, I would say it played into my strengths. I'm a people person. That's where I get my energy. You know, I'm very much motivated to help others. Physically, I've always been very strong, being in athletics my whole life. So, you know, physically, I knew I could handle the job. I've always been in a team sport atmosphere. So all these played into my strengths. And just the notion of helping others really was a huge motivating factor for me.
That's awesome. You know, and especially being a black man of color, and knowing the challenges that we face, because sometimes people speak when they're of a different nationality, they really don't understand this. And I just said that, I just put me in mind of my nephew who pursued being a police officer. Is now he's a Mountie out in BC, right? And he pursued it. It took him so long to get a job that he had to go out west to actually fulfill his thing. And the purpose why he actually got involved is because he actually wanted to go out there and to treat, you know, people regardless of their background as human beings. That's what drove him to really serve and protect, you know. So I applaud him, and for those that actually have gone through challenges, and he had his fair challenges too with situations, but that did not deter him. He actually decided that he's going to use that. So yeah, I tip my hat to you for that. So let's move on to the next question. Can you tell us about your early experience as a volunteer firefighter, how it led to opportunities within Brampton Fire and Emergency Services? Because I'm sure some of our young people can learn. I mentioned earlier about the benefits of volunteering. So go ahead and share.
So again, I'll correct, volunteer firefighter. There is a bit of pay, but it is kind of like part-time. But anyways, early experiences, and you know, it was in a smaller community and less diverse, but just like anything, there are people out there I couldn't have started this career without within that volunteer department, and others that tried to cut me out at the knees because of discrimination, because of racism. So as dichotomous, at times it was difficult because I was out there by myself, being the first Black to work in that department. But it was a choice that I made as a young man, realizing, where do I want to put my focus and my energy? So I really made a conscious decision that those who aren't for me probably will never be for me, and will always find a reason to, why they don't want me in this profession. So can't worry about them. Let's focus on those who are with me. We're all going in the same direction.
Yeah.
Just like a waterfall, you gain momentum and you gain strength, and wouldn't be where I was today without those people in that volunteer department years ago. And many of them vouched for me when I started with Brampton Fire in 1995. So, great deal of gratitude to those who are with me, and for those who were against me, can I say, hope the best for you. Can't help you.
But I tell you something though, Ryan. I had mentioned this before, that even those who are seemingly not your cheerleaders, those who actually oppose you, really you can use that to actually fuel your, to motivate you. You think of it, when there's storm clouds, regular birds, you know what they do? They find shelter. You know what eagles, you know what they do? They rise above the storm. They actually get elevated. So, my encouragement to you, when life gets stormy, prepare for an elevation, because you're an eagle. Eagles rise, snakes crawl. So you don't worry about snakes.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? The thing is that if you have that snake mentality, then you're also going to become venomous and bitter.
Yep.
We stand against those things, but we don't become those things.
Yep.
So, I applaud you for that, and thanks for sharing that. So let's move on. Diversity and inclusion are important topics in the fire services. Can you share experiences with diversity and acceptance within the field, both positive and negatively?
Well, the part within the fire service, it's been disappointing. It's been slow to change as compared to other professions, policing and teaching. So we'll just be honest about that. That being said, the leadership in Brampton has been tremendous. As far as allowing me to express it, many times we've had conversations. They've taken the conversations and directed and become very progressive. And a lot of the work we're doing is excellent. And the realization that, it doesn't just take a white male. We need all of us. All of us can have the capability, and everybody who wants this job deserves the opportunity to try and get this job without barriers. And that's been the amazing thing. It's been great to see the progression and to be able to help influence change. And I also very much clarify my purpose. I'm very much about unity. I'm very much about us sharing each other's culture and celebrating each other's culture. I know recently I went to Boston with a group of friends from work and marched in the St. Patrick's Day parade. That was an amazing experience.
Yes.
So, again, stepping out of your own self and experiencing life with others.
But you see, the thing is, people are actually ignorant in terms of what does humanity stand for? Hue. It's different colors.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I have a topic that I wrote in the book, Nourishment for the Soul, and it's about the Garden of Life. In the Garden of Life, we have different species of flowers, as well as a variety of colors. And no one ever take their hose out and just water the flowers they like. As a matter of fact, that little dog there, Jackson, he's black and white. Do you know how many times I've been outside doing my gardening work by myself? And people walk by, and the dog, if he's with me, people stop and they ask, what's his name? There are people who know Jackson's name and probably don't even know mine. So it's to show you the depravity that exists amongst us. And still we have to come to a place where, this is a positive show, but the fact is that being positive doesn't mean that you don't recognize the things that needs to be fixed. It's like if there's a cancer and someone has cancer, they don't just say, okay, it's cancer, let us stay there, masticize. No. So as people, if we're really positive and really are serious about change and not just talking the talk or walking the talk, one of the things I'm going to be doing next year, I'm going to start planning it next year. I don't know exactly what time next year we're going to do it, but for sure I'm going to have what's called the Icons Walk the Talk Gala. The Icons Walk the Talk Gala. There are people who talk the talk but never walk the walk. This is a man who will walk the walk. I've seen him in action. doing charity events and helping out in our community, going to schools. So this is the people that we want to honor in our lives. We don't want to wait till they die and bring flowers. It's too late. So we want to do this to honor people, right? And it's going to be local and global. As you see here, we have the globe, right? We're local, but we're still global. And I want you to catch this: local and global. You can flip it any way you want, because even though we may seem local, to others we're global. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, someone will catch that. Let's move on. So I'm gonna, as president of so this man actually did some beautiful thing. I mean, he see an issue and he didn't just talk about it. He did something. So he's the president of the Allied Firefighters of Canada and chair of BEAN. You have a significant role in the supporting the BIPOC. So we're talking about Black, Indigenous, people of color firefighters. Can you discuss the importance of these organizations and the impact they're having on the firefighting community?
Yeah, so I'm one of the co-founders of Allied,
Yes.
and we're a non-for-profit. We're nationwide, and basically we offer mentorship and support for BIPOC fire professionals.
Yes.
And really, we've been able to see a difference.
Awesome.
You wouldn't believe some of the things that people still in 2024 have to go through in their departments, and it could cause issues like mental health.
Yeah.
It's caused some to quit,
Yeah.
some to be ready for quit. And that's near and dear to my heart, because I remember starting off, and like I said, some of the people who I started off with in the volunteer, again, a few of them,
Yes.
made it very difficult. And if you're not prepared for that,
Yeah.
it could really put you in a bad
Break
spot.
you down,
and break you down and prepare you to quit. And had I quit, I wouldn't be, you know, in this great career, which I've loved and, you know, experienced so many great brothers and sisters who I'm very close to.
Yeah.
So this is basically why it's near and dear to me, so that these firefighters and fire professionals know that they do have a support group, they have a safe space.
Yes.
You know, they have someone they could turn to, and it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I was speaking to a young man who is going through the leadership process in his own department. He's not with Brampton.
Yeah.
So just to be able, for him to be able to talk to me, another man of color in leadership in the fire service, that his department, not through any fault of their own, but they may not know the intangibles and the nuances of him being a man of color and being in leadership. So I'm able to tell him, hey, you know, maybe you need to take a look at approaching this way and that way, and just little nuances, mentorship, big brother to little brother or little sister or whatever. So it's really near and dear to my heart. And BEAN is within the city of Brampton.
What does BEAN stand for?
Black Employee and Engagement Network. Okay. So
you're that Black Employee and Engagement Network.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're engaged.
We're engaged. Yeah. So within the city of Brampton. So just again to provide support and mentorship for Black employees and to help them to deal if they've, you know, with issues of discrimination, racism, mentorship, job training, professional development. So it's necessary. And a report came out that it was necessary, but we had already kind of began this. So, you know, so we're just doing some good things, making a difference.
Yeah. I mean, I like the word BEAN, you know, BEAN. I think of BEAN and another acronym came up to be seen. BEAN seen. I will deal with that later on because, you know, I'm an acronym man. You know that, because you know what I'm saying, right? I have lyrics coming for that one. But, you know, as I'm an artist that is one of my favorite artists, and is Jamil. And Jamil said, we don't give up, we give thanks. You understand? So when life throws a certain thing, we give thanks because what? It only makes us stronger. Because as you know, I'm a man that love exercise and love lift weights. And weights have never hurt me unless it falls on me. You know what I mean? So as long as I can put up that resistance, I know I'm getting stronger. So when those weak-minded people come to put you down, you just have to just stand strong and realize it's just their ignorance. So you pray for them, you know. There's a song that I pray for your enemies. You know what I mean? We don't wish their fall. Because the scripture said, the Father shall do what? Spread a table before us in the presence of who?
My enemies.
Our enemies were. You know what I'm saying? So we love them still, you know. But they choose to be our enemies. Now we choose to be their enemies. They're the one who made a choice. Right? And they've drawn the line. So at the same time, our enemy is an enemy, right? But at the same time, our enemy can be a frenemy. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, let's leave that and move on. Blessed love. All right. So what advice would you give to aspiring firefighters, particularly those from underrepresented backgrounds who have faced similar challenges that you encountered? I know you kind of covered that, but let's kind of just recap that again for them.
I would say the first thing, and I would tell this to anybody, check your purpose. Check your purpose. You know, this is a great profession. I've loved it. But it is serious. You know, you need to be prepared. You need to be trained. It's not always fun and games and a camaraderie. It's a lot of hard calls and hard decisions. So be prepared. Go in with honorable intentions. Go in there hoping to help the public. So, you know, whether you see somebody who's homeless and needs your help, I choose to look at it that if not for blessings and a few life decisions, that could be me. So I know better. So
by the grace of God, eh?
So everybody that's on the other, a retired captain told me once, he told me two things. He said, this was almost 30 years ago. He said, I would never accept you or anybody else disrespecting anybody at a call. He said, everybody at the other end of that call is your boss. They pay your salary. We are a public servant.
That's correct.
So go in with that mentality to serve, to serve the public. That's the biggest thing I could say, going with good intentions and go in there, enjoy the experience, and go in there and make sure you surround yourself with like-minded people or good-minded people. Okay. So like in any profession, okay, avoid the negative, go towards the positive. Okay. So
good. You know, one thing I'd be
that'd
remiss.
be a very good start.
You know, sorry about that. I'm remiss because I don't want to forget this thing. It just came to mind as you're talking. Because we talk a lot about the psychosocial hazard, and we talk about the racial barriers and stuff. But one of the things that people have to be prepared for is the hazard of firefighting itself, right? The chemical hazard, the impact it has on their bodies, and the importance of using proper PPE, making sure they take care of the body. Maybe something, PTSD, dealing with traumatic experiences where they see people actually die. You've seen that, right, in your years of fire. See people even committing suicide. I mean, you guys see a lot. And that has a traumatic impact. So how would you actually share with those who, you know, they think the fire is just wearing a uniform and you run around in fire trucks, you know, and the alarms are going and people move over, and it's more than just that. So I want to actually talk a little bit about how you personally have dealt with it, and what are the avenues, or what are the options that they have in terms of support. I know you have employment plans that provide that kind of support in case of, so talk a bit about that so people can be prepared to deal with that when they engage in the fire services.
So part of through my career journey, I've been on Brampton's peer support team for the last 10, 11 years. So I've really seen such a huge increase in the acceptance. I remember, as a matter of fact, the very first time I saw, going back probably about 15, 16 years, maybe more, but when somebody came around to the station after we had a bad call offering peer support, and was basically ridiculed and laughed and cursed out of the station. Kind of, I felt bad for the guy. I'm sitting there, guys, he's only trying to help. But that was kind of the mentality, is, you know, beat your chest, we'll get through it. But then the problem being is you get a lot of, you get addiction issues, you get mental health issues, because people are not dealing with these types of things properly. So peer support, that's a start. Finding trusted colleagues on the peer support team, and also captains, district chiefs, officers offering that support. And then you spoke about employee assistance programs. So often as a peer support member, that's part of our job, just to direct them in a proper space. Like now it's, I'll tell rookies, one of keeping in mind what I said about early in peer support. Now I talk to rookies, I say, hey, one of the first things, find yourself a mental health specialist that you feel comfortable with. Kind of like find yourself a doctor or find yourself a gym or a and we've made great strides with that. That's fantastic, where you can sit down at a table within the fire hall and just tell people, make sure you take care of your mental health, because the mind goes, the body and the spirit will follow.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it's all about mindset. As you talk about that, I'm going to have a young lady that's going to be on. I already spoke to her. I'm looking forward to having things. She works with CAMH, and she's very specialized in dealing with the different traumas of different society, the BIPOC community as well. And I'm looking forward to having that interview with her, because there's still a stigma attached to mental health issues. And I can't understand, in this day and age, people don't understand the way you think is the way you are. If you think sad, be sad. If you think glad, so it's all connected. But the thing, though, that in our society, we still have this macho mentality that men don't cry. And I'm telling you, I'm one man that will cry if I need to. I don't hold my emotions back. I mean, one of the things that men have accepted as being okay to do is to be angry. Now, can a man be angry? Absolutely. Angry doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It's an emotion. It just means you need to vent it and release it. Just like how you give love, you need to just release the anger. It's just release it in a productive way, in a constructive way. Right? Because sometimes you have to stand up against certain things that you know is wrong. And you're not going to just, you know what? This is you have to express that. I mean, Jesus, I was saying to Jake the other day, if Jesus was alive today, he'd be in jail. Because he went to the temple and he kicked over tables and he beat guys. Can you imagine? Can you imagine somebody going to a church, I won't call any names, kicked over tables and chairs and beat these guys? I mean, it would be 911.
One of the biggest misconceptions is Jesus was weak.
That's the thing. Sometimes people, that's a problem, right? They think he's weak. Sometimes they excuse kindness for weakness. Anyhow, that's another topic and another subject matter. Now, I know you're a family man and you're very busy in terms of doing volunteer work and all that. I want to know, how do you balance that, your personal life, your interest in riding and biking and all the volunteer things? How do you balance that? Because I know that,
For myself, I just said it before, where the mind starts, the body and the spirit will follow. So I try and start the day taking care of me.
Yes.
It's kind of like, I envision you start the day right at the top of the mountaintop. You take care of your mind, you listen to positive messages, take care of my body through workouts. You mentioned weights, bike riding, walks, swimming, whatever. And it just puts me in a good mindset, and then take care of my spirit. For me, being a Christian, others have whatever they follow, whatever their beliefs, and then it kind of feels like you've taken care of everything. Everything else is rolling off the edge of the mountain, and you're able to better cope with things. And again, waking up each day, because you take care of your mind and your body, your spirit. So you're grateful, you're thankful, and then when you're thankful, it allows you to appreciate others and what they bring, and allows you to appreciate things. One of the things I've learned recently, the last year or so, the importance of living in the moment, and appreciating right now. Because tomorrow will cause anxiety, yesterday will cause depression. So
it's interesting because it's interesting you say that, because the quote that I'm actually going to give you, as I told you, I'm going to give every person that's sitting in that chair they'll be receiving one of the quotes I wrote. And the one I have is act now. Let the past be the past, learn from it. Let the present be the present, act on it. Because your future will eventually be your present, and your present your past. So that is just perfect, right, what
Wow.
you just said. So yeah, I really like the fact of what you just shared, the importance of self-care, because self-care is not selfishness. I've always tell people it's so important, because, and that's why some people can't really give. There's a chapter I wrote in the book. I don't know if I'm going to put it in this edition, but you can't drink from an empty cup.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to fill your cup to be able to fill others. And I mean, people talk about this all the time. If you're on an airplane, if you have a baby with you, and the plane is going down and the oxygen mask drops, you got to put it on yourself first, because the baby can't take care of himself. And we in a society where we think we have to always serve, and be depleted. And that happens in so many different settings and aspects of life. So I'm glad you actually mentioned the importance of self-care, because self-care and self-love is important. The scripture says, love your neighbor as yourself. And you wonder why people don't love their neighbors, because they really don't love themselves. That's interesting. That's another topic. But let's move on. So looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations within the fire services? And how do you hope to continue making a difference in the community?
Well, what I see with my future in the fire service, it's not limited by a title. It's wherever I can make a difference. Mm-hmm. That's the goal. I know I'm in the back end of my career,
yes,
but I'm trying to experience as much as I can, make as much of a difference, can be more purpose-driven, yeah, more than ever. Yeah. So wherever that takes me, position-wise, promotion-wise, it takes me. But it's more about where can I make a difference? Where can I help this industry, help the fire service better? Where can I best serve?
Yeah.
So future as far as family, again, just really grateful. Again, say a hello, a shout out to Tanya, my wife and kids, and to my crew, brothers and sisters with Brampton Fire. And
awesome, yeah. Awesome. Man, this been a pleasure really having this conversation with you, and touching on topics that really matters. It's not just a foolish talk that we're talking. And I'm praying that the audience, that you really benefits from this conversation. Because as I said, it's about dealing with how we overcome challenges in life, because we will have challenges. And challenges is there to make us stronger and make us better individuals. We can be better instead of being bitter. We have to be grateful, as you mentioned, about gratefulness, and being thankful for those that are there to support your family members, my wife, my children, those who are well-wishers and supporters, and even those that are opposers. As I said, let the opposers strengthen you. Right? They will only refine you. They cannot define you. So a diamond is only polished. Right? A diamond can only become a diamond when it's polished. Mm-hmm. That means there's some friction. So we have to embrace friction. It's just life. Mm-hmm. So thank you again, Ryan, for coming. Thank you all for listening to Icons Talk, your forum for positive and uplifting conversations. I hope we did as we said we would. I didn't mention it earlier, but our purpose is to brighten your day and to empower your spirit. I hope you feel empowered. I didn't say this. I want you to drop a like and drop some emojis. Leave a comment in the comment section. Subscribe, share it with friends, because this is only the beginning of our conversation. We'll have many more conversations with different individuals from the medical field, from different aspects of life, that are making a difference in their communities. Thank you so much. Until we meet again, peace and blessings. We're remiss. I have to say this. We're making some strides with the book. This book is a work of art. I'm telling you, it's art, science, philosophy. It's just loaded. It's just loaded. I'm telling you, I can't wait for it to be printed to just reminisce over it as well. Because I'm right now doing the manuscripts and I'm deciding what 24 chapters go into the regular and what additional 2. I already know the 2 that's going to go into the one that we're doing, the special edition with the seal. I know the 2 chapters that are going to be added. But the other 24, I'm having so much challenge as to which one. I'm telling you, I'm not joking. They're just like morsels. So get your copy. Remember, July 24th if you get your copy before July 24th, you will get a signed copy from myself. It won't be something that's printed. It will be my signature. Now, after July 24th, you will only get a signed copy if you come to a book signing, because I won't be signing any books and sending out, by the way. Let me correct. I won't be doing that. So we'll be doing some different places. We'll go to do book signing. Now, this is the deal. I've switched it up from what I said earlier. We also are very much into social enterprise. And as my brother spoke about, one of the things I'm looking at doing is to contribute to mental health organizations who are supporting that, because it's very important that we do that. So we're doing that. So when you go to a book signing that I do, you will make a contribution, and that contribution will be going straight, none to me. All of that contribution that I receive that day will be going to a mental health organization within that community. That's my pledge to you. So until we meet again, thank you again for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Ryan, thank you so much for showing up. And I have this gift for you. All right. This is for everyone who showed up. Just let's show the audience what it looks like.
There we go.
Yeah. And read what it says.
Okay, to Ryan Agard, first guest on Icon Talk. Positive and uplifting conversations. Love and blessing.
Yes, that's
All
it.
right.
And then
Appreciate
read what
that.
it says at the front.
The front.
Yeah, what the quote says.
Okay, quote says, let the past be in the past, learn from it.
Yes.
Let the present be in the present, act on it.
Mm-hmm.
Your future will eventually be present, and your present, your past.
Yes.
C.R. Wallace.
Yeah.
I love it. Fantastic.
Thank you, my brother.
All right.
Blessings.
Thanks, brother.
Blessings. Thank you
All
for
right.
coming, man.
Okay.
Yes, enjoyed it.